Good morning, everyone. The podcast is back, and I hope that you're ready for some chill fun today. Out of nowhere, we've got some interesting topics to talk about. First of all, Kick has new improvements to live streaming, including the ability to set sub goals for set periods of time, as well as a brand new Kicks system that rivals the bit system over on Twitch. We're going to talk about that this morning to explain fully how it works, and already how we found out about some loopholes and issues with it that Kick's going to have to improve. Also, of course, I want to tell you how I'm going to handle it. Now, in addition to that, something dawned on me last night, okay? I was playing Silk Song yesterday, and I came to the realization that it just seems like this year, the best games are all very similar in one certain aspect, but at the very same time, those games have not gotten much attention on my streams. And I'm trying to put two and two together. I think that we need to have an open discussion about the gaming year that has been 2025 and why people seem to like or dislike a certain type of game on DSPGaming. Because obviously I want to do what's right for the future, but at the same time, I don't want to be skipping the best games of the year. So we've got a good amount of stuff to talk about today. Thank you so much for attending. It is time for a fresh new episode of the Level 1 Podcast.
Attention! The games are about to begin. All hail the
Alrighty, everybody. So welcome to the show. Today is Wednesday, the 16th. No, excuse me. Tuesday, the 16th of September, 2025. I'm DSP. I got confused because this is a really weird week. It's only a 4-day streaming week for me. And usually my streaming weeks are like 6+ days. So only having 4 days has thrown me off for sure. And I'm trying to keep track of everything going on. And it's a little difficult, to be honest. But it's been a great week so far. The first half of the week, we had great progress in the two major playthroughs that I've been going through, Chronos and Silk Song. We finished Gears of War Reloaded's campaign on hardcore difficulty last night to a hilarious end, which we will talk about for a little bit. And we had a successful chill return to American Truck Sim streaming on Sunday night. So far, so good. Everything has been great. In fact, if you're not aware, I believe we have had 8 straight streams, if not 9 straight streams, where we have hit all of my support goals. Okay? That's amazing. And it wasn't expected. You know, the last couple of weeks, it was kind of touch and go there, where I would hit a goal, then I would miss a goal, then I would hit a goal, I would miss a goal. I'm very happy that we have had so much support. Now, in addition to that, it's not just one person, because there were a couple streams that were pretty much carried by like one person. But since then, we've still been hitting goals. We've still been getting support. It's been great. So I want to say thank you to anyone who attended my streams over the last week and has supported and allowed me to hit goals. Now, before we even get to hellos and topics, I just want to say this. This stream right now is probably the one stream that I am nervous about the most for support. Why? Because guess what I am playing after the podcast ends? Suikoden 2. And as we know, whenever I play RPGs, particularly more traditional RPGs, it's incredibly hard to bring an audience, or I should say, to retain an audience. I've had no problem getting the audience for a podcast, but as soon as I start playing that game, it's like oh my God, run for the hills, abandon all hope, get the hell out of Dodge. We'll come back when Phil's done. And that's frustrating because I have a great time playing classic RPGs. This Suikoden 1 and 2 are games that I played when I was in my teens on the PlayStation 1. I absolutely loved these games. Okay, I did. And I wanted to share those experiences with all of you. The Suikoden 1 playthrough, we had really good support for. And in general, we had an engaged audience who came by, hung out, talked about the game, and had a great time. With Suikoden 2, I'm not saying that we haven't had some people come by to hang out and have a good time. We have, but the support has basically been all over the place. We have had streams where we have hit goals, and we have had streams where we have not even come close to hitting half a goal. All right? So it's this simple. This stream right now, let's get some support rallying for the podcast. So that way, if you're not going to stick around for Suikoden 2, that's okay, but we've hit the goal. Seriously, if you like Suikoden 2, stick around and hang out with me and have a great chill afternoon. But if you don't, support the stream for the content that I put out before it, and for, in general, the fact that I am here so often putting out awesome content for you on a daily basis and the fact that you appreciate it. Let's get some support rolling, and let's crush the goal. Let's break the norm. Let's not make this a pattern where every time that I play Suikoden 2, I'm not going to be getting any support. Instead, let's crush it, all right? So thank you in advance to anyone who supports. We're going to talk about a new kind of support on Kick in just a moment that was added last night out of nowhere. No one was expecting it, and it's kind of out of control. Let's get that out of the way, and then we can talk about the other topic, which is the best games of the year that I'm kind of having a hard time getting people to watch, okay? Cool. All right. How's everyone this morning? Who do we got? We got Zelocity, we got Copium, Girl Set, Ian is here, Jibba John, Usagi Jojo, Christian, Apollo 360, and Chris on the YouTube side. Who do we got on Kick? We got Mad TV. What's going on, Mad? How was your stream last night? I tried to send my viewers over there. I don't know how many actually stuck around. We got Copper Chef. We got Extra Bondage doing some kicks right now on Kick. We'll talk about that because you can't see them if you're not live in the Kick chat. There's no way for me to even, show these kicks going on right now, unlike my other contributions, right? If I get a tip, I do a manual animation. For Super Chats, we have automated. For members and subs, we have automated. Right now, there's nothing for these kicks, but I will explain soon. So thank you, Extra Bondage over there, who's actually throwing some kicks out. We got RGB Kings completely spamming the chat with moral support. We've got High Tech Operative. What's going on? We have 650J, who's sending 100 kecks, which aren't even real, but it's that meme. Rebecca, how are you this morning? Savis GTA, how are you this morning? How is everyone today? Captain Base Pants. A morning toker. Is it really that bad? Is life that bad that the first thing you do when you get up in the morning, you have to hit the weed? Really? That it's kind of like those people too who they can't function without liquor, so they have to get up and have a Bloody Mary. Oh. I couldn't imagine that. Anyway, well, welcome everyone. I hope that you're all in a good mood and ready to chill with me here today for the topics that we have on the show. Where should we start? Where do we begin? Right? Wake and bake? Oh, God. Ian has done a £5 super chat to get the ball rolling today. Now, here's the question. What is the exchange rate for the pound today? The pound exchange rate has been all over the place in the last several weeks. So let's see what that's worth today. Every day, it seems to be a different value. So let's do pounds, USD. So 5 pounds is $6.83. It's holding steady. It was actually that yesterday, so it has not changed in the last 24 hours. So Ian with the first super chat of the day says, I'm starting that ball rolling. Momentum. Thank you very much to Ian for the first contribution of the day. Well, technically, Extra Bondage over on Kick is sending kicks, but he's sending 1 kick, 10 kicks. And we're going to explain in a moment why I can't track that stuff. Okay, at least for now. Maybe long-term I can, but right now it's just not possible. Anyway, Ian, thank you for a $6.83 contribution to start the day. Now, how about this? Ian got the ball rolling. How about we have our first tip of the day via PayPal? How about we get our first gifted sub of the day? And how we get a membership? And how about we get our first 100 kick of the day over on Kick? Someone do 100 kicks. at once because I actually count that towards the leaderboard. Okay. Let's go. Let's get that momentum rolling so we can hit that goal and not have to worry about Suikoden 2 being the only game that I don't hit support for when we've been hitting goals every other stream. Let's go. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to talk about these new additions to Kick because both of them are interesting, but also confusing. It actually seems like they're not necessarily that emo. They're not necessarily um polished yet. Okay, so allow me to explain. So the first new feature that they added to Kick streaming yesterday is a subscriptions goal. What is that and how does it work? Well, what you can do now is you can set a goal for subscriptions that you're trying to hit during a set time period. It could be as short as a few hours. It could be as long as several days to a week. You can basically do it as however you want. And that way you and your viewers have something to work towards when it comes to support. The cool thing about it is you can pick any one of your emotes as the emote that promotes the goal. So I have the new salute emote as the emote promoting this goal. And I actually set this up this morning to be a goal of 25 subs by the end of tomorrow. So that includes this stream, tonight's late night stream of Chronos the New Dawn, tomorrow's daytime stream of Silk Song, and late night tomorrow night, Chill with Phil returns. We haven't done a full-on Chill with Phil stream in a long time. So a Chill with Phil stream tomorrow night. All 4 of those streams combined, we're trying to hit 25 subs on my Kick channel. Can we do it? Can we hit the goal? Can we get the momentum going now? If someone gives a sub, we'll get that momentum rolling. Let's get that going right now. Let's get our first sub towards our 25 goal for the next 2 days. Let's go. Okay. Anyway, so by the way, thank you to Terry Bogard did a 100 kicks. I don't say did a 100 kicks. I should say gifted 100 kicks or sent 100 kicks. Okay? So thank you, Terry Bogard. That will count on the leaderboard. Now, if you're wondering, what does that mean? Wait a minute. What are you talking about? I'll explain in a moment because we're going to explain the kick system, okay? So each kick is worth a penny. I'm not kidding. So 100 kicks is the equivalent of $1. So now we are up to $7 of support for today's stream. So again, let's get that momentum rolling, right? Let's get our first tip. Let's get our first sub. Let's get our first membership. We got some kicks and we got a super chat. Now let's get some support in the other regions. All right. How does this sub goal work? Well, like I said, you set it up. There's now a bar on the chat. I don't know where it is because I have the pop-out chat. Okay. I don't see it. So I have to ask the viewers right now, everyone who's watching me on Kick, where do you guys see the sub goal? Where can you guys see it? Is it visibly visible in the chat? Is it somewhere on your page when you're watching the stream? I don't see it. I'm not sure where it is. You don't see it. You don't see it. You don't see the goal? Well, then what's the point of the goal? You don't see the sub goal. Let me make sure that I set it up. Yeah, it says sub goals, 1 active. Get set subscriptions goal 0 of 25. Yeah, it's there, but where is it? Like, where can you guys see it? You guys really can't see it. Well, what's the point of it then? If you can't see it, then why does it exist? Can anyone on Kick actually see the sub goal? For real, not messing around with me. Dr. Jedi says, maybe if someone gifts a sub, it pops up on the screen. Trongate's Legacy says, watching the stream on desktop, you can see it under the video. Are you guys watching on desktop? Do you see a bar under the video screen? No, it's not a moderator thing. It's a community thing. Everyone's supposed to be able to see it. Pot of Desire says they see it. Okay. Felipe Baxter says, it's scrolling across the bottom of the screen. I see it now. I'm being told it may not be on mobile yet. Well, the mobile app is ass. Like, I'm not lying. Mobile, the app for Kick is so bad. I don't recommend anyone use it at all. Even if you're going to watch Kick on your mobile phone, I recommend that you open a browser and watch it through there. Do not watch it through the app. The app is terrible. So I guess people are saying if you can see it, it'll be below the stream video window, okay? I guess we'll have to try to confirm that long term here. So Trongate's Legacy said it's below the video title on the right-hand side. You should be able to see it if you navigate to the stream. Well, I'm watching from the dashboard. So my dashboard is not actually like the proper stream. Here, let me see if I go to a different browser. Or maybe, oh, hold on. I'll do it on my computer over here. I'm not logged in over here. Oh, there it is. Okay. It's on the main channel page. Okay. You see the video window. You see DSPGaming Reel, gift subs, customized channel, the number of viewers. Scroll right below that. And it'll say about DSPGaming Reel and has all my info. And then to the right, 25 subscriptions to go in 2 days. And it has an emote, but that's not the emote that I set for it. So I must have forgotten to do it. I did, didn't I? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna try to fix that. Can I change it? Oh crap, they won't let me change it. I gotta start the whole goal over. All right, I'm gonna end the goal and restart it because I didn't have the correct emote attached to it, and I want to have a nice emote attached to it. Here we go. We're gonna do 25, and we're gonna have it by Thursday. Okay, start goal. All right, so I've started a new goal, and it worked. I'm literally looking at it right now, and it worked live. It's below the stream. It's me saluting like this. It's 25 subs by the end of tomorrow, okay? So, now let's get some subs going. Let's get some support rolling. Let's hit that goal. Let's hit 25 subs in the next 48 hours. How does that sound? That's not too much to ask, honestly, for support on Kick. It's not. In fact, I will say this. I want to get some momentum going because Kick support has been slow this week. In the 2 days I streamed, we've only gotten like 10 subs. Oh, really? When I'm being told when I set up the new goal, it popped up on the chat screen and people were able to see it. Okay. Well, you don't have to keep it there. It's going to be below the stream. You can see it there. Okay. Oh, that is correct. Breaking Fist says, are you aware that if you are using the mobile app on iOS or Android, Kick will charge you $6.50 for a sub, but if you use desktop or the web version, they only charge $4.99? Yes. Anytime that you use a mobile app to buy something, there's an upcharge for the app store through which you're using it. So never do that. In fact, a ton of mobile games now are pushing their customer bases to not use any purchases through the game, but instead to go to an online store where you link your account, you buy through the store, then they send you the items you purchased into the game through like an inbox or an email box. That completely bypasses the extra profits that the mobile app stores try to steal for no reason. So I strongly recommend that. If you're going to support anyone on Kick, if you're going to support anyone on YouTube, if you're going to support anyone, hell, on Twitch for that matter, never use the app or app store. Always go through desktop or go to a browser and log in manually through a browser and do it there, or else you are paying significantly more money just to do it through an app. It's absolutely ridiculous. Okay? All right. So, FYI, we have that goal set for tomorrow. Let's do it. We have 4 streams to hit that goal. Let's get our first sub of the day towards that goal right now. All right. So those goals will be set. Now, here's the thing. Some people are already saying, well, will you ever use those goals and actually drive support and do like rewards and things? I don't know yet. First of all, let's even see if it works. It just launched, right? Who even knows if it's going to track properly or what it's going to do? So let's calm down and let's give it a test run. Let's see if the tracking works, if it's proper. You know what I mean? We got to be sure that everything's fine. Once we can confirm that this new feature works, maybe we can do stuff. What? I don't know yet. We can think about it, right? It has to be something quick, obviously. If it's for a certain set number of subs, maybe it's a silly dance. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows, right? But we can figure something out that if we hit the sub goal, that we have a little celebration or a little reward, but I'm just not sure what it could be yet. All right? Cool. Okay. So that is one thing going on Kick. We're going to talk about the other one in just a second, but apparently I have a couple shout outs to do, people are saying. So first off, it looks like there was someone sent 100 kicks. It was Phil's best friend did 100 kicks over on Kick. Thank you to Phil's best friend. That counts for $1. So thank you for that. By the way, for the record, we're going to talk about these kicks now to explain how they work and everything. I'm going to shout out anything that's 100 kicks or more. That's it. I cannot shout out anything smaller than that. I'll explain in a second, but I wanted to let you know up front for those who are doing, because a couple people did a few single kicks and like 10 kicks. I can't shout those out. I'm only shouting out 100 or more because that's $1. I mean, it's the same thing for super chats and everything. I only shout out $1 or more. Okay, cool. Someone tipped $1.01. Says, why do you round down tips? I don't round down tips. I just don't count change. I'm not going to sit here with a fucking calculator counting pennies. I just don't have time. It's not worth my time, quite frankly. Okay, there you go. Very simple. All right. Take that shit to the bank. This isn't a bank. This is a stream. Okay. Now, can we get a real tip? Instead of $1.01 from someone trying to be a jerk, let's get a real tip. Come on. Let's get our first real tip of the day, and for God's sakes, let's get our first subscription of the day over on Kick right now. Let's get our first sub towards the goal. Let's see if the goal works. We can't see if it works until someone gets the sub, so someone do it right now. My eye burns. Crap, my eye's burning. I couldn't hold the pose because my eyes started burning. So I should know, for the last 2 weeks, we've been very fortunate here in Washington State where I live. It's been cool. It's only been like the 70s, and we had a couple days that actually were in the 60 degrees Fahrenheit range. So basically get into almost fall weather, and we were this close. We were going to take the air conditioners out of the windows and open up the windows and have fresh air in the house. Today, we are having a 90-degree day out of nowhere, and it's only one day. Then all the weather goes back to being cool again. I don't understand how you can have a single-day heat wave, but we're getting it. So I turned on all the air conditioners. I had to bring out all the fans again because we had put the fans away in the other room over there, and I had to pull them all out again. Like, I really hope this is only one day because I really want to feel like we're into the fall season. You know, the intense amount of brand new games, the cooler weather, the vibes of like the leaves falling and changing color, you know, Halloween right on the horizon and all the fun stuff that we do in October for that. I want that coming. I want that to be now. But the summer rears its ugly head for one final last hurrah. It's like in a horror movie when the killer gets up for one last scare out of nowhere. You're like, come on, you piece of shit. Get out of here. So, very annoying. Aha! Oh, wait a minute. That's a resub. Now, wait a second. That's just a resub. Now, here's a test. Does that resub count as one of the subs for the 25 sub goal, or does it not? Let's find out right now. It does. So resubs will count towards these sub goals. That's important to know. So that's good. And that means that's a legit sub that I do count towards the stream, as opposed to one of these people who just pops their resub message and that actually isn't support because it's already happened. Now, that actually will help me to track properly, I think. So thank you. That is Kitchoop. I have no idea how to pronounce this name. But thank you for the resub. Thank you for supporting the channel. I appreciate that. So now we only have 24 subs to go to hit our goal by the end of the week. Let's go. Let's get some more subs on this very stream. Because again, remember, Sweet Code N2, historically, my least supported streams right now. I want to flip that script. I want to change that narrative. I want to hit the goal on this stream so that it's not the dead game or the dead stream that Phil only plays for himself. I want to have people support my content. Let's go. Okay, so now let's talk about the other half of this new equation going on Kick. Kicks. They're actually just called kicks, okay? So on Twitch, they have a bits system, and that bits system is you purchase these bits behind the scenes through Twitch. Twitch charges you a premium. So, for example, over on Twitch, this is just an estimate. I haven't been on Twitch in many years. It used to be like, so you buy 100 bits for like $1.40. So you pay $1.40. Twitch will keep 40 cents. That's their profits. You will now have 100 bits to give to a streamer, and each bit is worth a penny. Now, the streamers on Twitch are not allowed to say that. I know how stupid that sounds, because obviously everyone knows that bits have monetary value, but Twitch actually had it in their terms of service that streamers can never say that bits have monetary value or that's a violation and you will lose your partner status. I wish I was kidding. I'm not. Twitch actually has said that, and there was one time when Twitch actually contacted me and said, stop talking about bits. And I was like, are you fucking crazy? You fucking idiots. I'll talk about what I want. I'm not going to lie to my audience. But they want everyone to lie over there. I think there's some kind of a legal loophole that they try to use for their own taxing purposes to say that bits don't have monetary value when everyone knows that they do. Okay? So, each bit was a penny. So over here on Kick, they're using exactly the same system. You have to buy these kicks ahead of time. How do you do that? Well, take a look right now at the chat. And what you'll see is right next to the chat box where you would type the chat, there's a few different things. And one of them now looks like a house. I don't know why they're using that icon because it just looks like a house to me. But apparently that's supposed to be a store. I don't know why they think that looks like a store. I would have used a dollar sign, but instead they use a building. Okay. So you click on the building and then you can buy kicks. Okay. So what is the current exchange rate? Well, I can tell you what it is in the United States. It says get kicks. Okay. So for 100 kicks, it's $1.09. For 250 kicks, it's $2.69. For 500 kicks, it's $5.29. For 1,000 kicks, it's $10.55. For 2,500 kicks, it's $26.35, and so on. What it looks like is the more you buy, the less of an upcharge there is, if that makes sense. So basically, if you buy them on a dollar basis, you're paying 9 cents premium per 100. But if you buy, for example, 1,000, you're only paying 55 cents premium, which means it was only 5 cents per 100. So it declines the more you buy at a time. So if you're someone who watches a lot of kick streamers and you're going to be doing a lot of kicks to support them, you're probably going to want to buy the biggest pack possible because you save the most money then. Okay? Now, the way it works is in that very same menu, there are different levels of kicks that you can do, starting at as little as 1 kick. Then there's 10, 50, 100, 500, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, and a whopping 50,000. And each one of the larger categories starting at 100 has an animated picture that it plays in chat. One of them is like a coin. There's like a suitcase. Don't ask me why there's a suitcase. A bullhorn, a sneaker, a big blinged out K necklace, and the 50,000 kicks is a giant grenade. So you might say, well, what's the value? Well, I don't know yet because they haven't contacted us to even tell us. But if it works like Twitch, which I'm assuming it does, why wouldn't it? Each single kick is a penny. So if you do the math, a 100 kick is $1. 500 kicks is $5. 50,000 kicks would be $500. So right now, if someone were to do a 50,000 kick grenade on my channel, we would hit 3 goals immediately. So let's go. Who's going to be the first 50,000 kicker on DSPGaming Reel on Kick? Let's go. I will put you on the Wall of Fame. You will be there immortalized as the first ever 50,000 kicker. Let's go. Let's hit it. Yes. Okay. So that's how it works. Now, when you do those kicks, okay, it displays your contribution in the chat. It'll show, like I said, an emo or a moving animation for those. And they go, like I said, 1, 10, 50, 100, 500, etc. Now, herein lies the problem and the rub. Okay, as of right now, they just launched these last night. This wasn't even on my first stream yesterday. It was only on my late stream. Okay. The way that they've set it up currently, there's absolutely no way for me, the streamer, to regulate any of this at all. Okay? Well, what does that mean? It means that right now, someone could keep sending 1 kicks and spam the chat entirely, and I have absolutely no way to control that whatsoever. Okay? And that's actually what happened last night, is when I was streaming Gears of War Reloaded, people were buying 100 kicks for $1, well, $1.09, okay? And then they were literally going 1 kick, 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 one 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 kick. Okay, I think you get the idea. So this lasted, I'm not kidding you, 30 some minutes where the chat was literally just one kick spam moving up the chat. And so, of course, Dunsfelter was modding and he's like, well, how do we stop it? And we were both looking at it like, you can't. There's actually no way. If you time the person out or you even moderate them by banning them, they can still send kicks. So there's no way to stop the kick spam right now at all. They coded in the kicks, but they didn't actually test it. So anyone could just sit there spamming and you can't stop it, okay? Now you might say, well, why would you want to stop it? That's support. Well, you're right, except here's the rub. Let's say, for example, someone walks up to you on the street and says, hey, man, here's $5. Seriously, just take it. You'd be like, oh, cool. I'll take $5. Thank you so much. Now, what if someone walked up to you on the street and they had 5 rolls of pennies and they said, hey, man, here's $5. Here's a penny, here's a penny, here's a penny, here's a penny, here's a penny. And you're like, what the fuck? And the pennies they're bouncing off your chest, they're bouncing off your face. The fuck the shit they do. That's the equivalent of what's happening on Kick right now. Is, listen, I like support, don't get me wrong, but you pelting me with pennies doesn't really add up to anything significant, but it completely derails the chat. People can't even talk. Last night, I'm not kidding, people could not talk during Gears of War because there were so many kicks bouncing off the chat. You couldn't even see their text lines. It was just 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Oh, look, someone said something. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. So, absolutely, there's going to have to be a way to regulate this. What I'm assuming is they're going to put the same thing in place that you could do on Twitch, where you could set it up that there has to be a minimum level of contribution, either for it to even go through or for it at least to show up in chat. Okay? That's what I'm thinking. There's no way that they're just going to let this fly forever and everyone's going to be able to go 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. It's going to be to everyone's chat. Can you imagine right now on a big Kick streamers chat what it must be like? Because right now, I mean, I'm a small time guy. I have 80 viewers? I'm curious. How many viewers do I have right now? I have 100 viewers exactly. Wow, how did I get exactly 100? So with exactly 100 viewers, we got a few people doing it. It's not that big of a deal. But can you imagine on a big Kick streamer who's like 1,000 viewers, 2,000 viewers, and everyone's flicking ones? You probably can't see the chat at all. So how are they ever going to interact with their audience, right? So there has to be some kind of a regulation. There's no way they're just going to allow this to nonstop go down, all right? Now, FYI, this does mean that there's some changes. You probably already see one of them. I am going to be tracking kicks on my stream in increments of 100 kicks or more. Meaning if you do 100 kicks at once or higher, I'm going to count that towards my stream. I'm going to put you right here, top kicks. Right now it's Terry Bogard who did the first 100. If someone does more than 100, they will take up Terry Bogard's spot, just like we do with every other level of contribution. Okay? Now you might say, well, I don't understand. Why aren't you going to count the single kicks or the 10 kicks or the 50 kicks? Because it's too much. People are just going to start spamming. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, this was the first person who did 10 and 50. Forget that shit. It's got to be $1 or more. It's the same thing with tips. It's the same thing with super chats. It always has been. You got to hit that certain criteria to be counted. Okay? Fair enough? So, that's how I'm going to track it. Now, as of this morning, there is currently no way to have any pop-ups and celebrations on my stream for kicks. That's of today. I would assume this is a brand new thing. What's now going to happen is all the services that are streaming integration services are going to run to code in these kicks, and likely within I'm going to guess a week. I'm going to guess that within 1 week, they will have the ability to actually do pop-up thank you messages for kicks. Okay? And if that's the case, I'm going to do exactly what I'm doing now with the shout-outs. If you do 100 kicks or more, I'll actually have an animation play. And then we'll have incremental, 100, 500, 1,000, for those levels. And we'll have different animations for them. Okay? But I'm not going to go crazy. I'm not going to be doing every single kick or anything like that. But I like the animations. I would love to do that. I mean, I think it was a huge improvement when we actually added the animations for the streams for subs, right? I think it's awesome when someone gives a sub, you get to see the animation pop up and everything. So we are going to do that when these kicks get implemented, whenever they do, through these services, okay? Now, there's another big caveat here, all right? And what is it? Currently, I have no ability whatsoever to actually see how many kicks have been given to me. They didn't even code a screen yet on the Kick streamer dashboard that tracks kicks. So I have no idea last night how many actual kicks I got. Remember, I was getting one kick, one kick, one kick. I don't know how many there were. There's nowhere to even see that. It doesn't exist. And last night, Kick staff was in my chat. This guy named Brian showed up, and I asked him directly, is there a screen somewhere for this? And he says, no, it doesn't exist yet, but it will. So as of now, I don't even know if there will be a significant impact on my income with these kicks. There's no way to track it whatsoever. Okay? So let's see what happens. Obviously, listen, I'm not going to say, hey, don't use kicks. They're too intrusive. No, right? So go ahead. Please support the stream with them. I appreciate any support. I really do. And I'm hoping that it does add up. And I'm hoping that overall it will be an improvement to the support that I get on the streams and it'll help out the business. But I hope that they quickly implement all these things that are missing because, man, it's going to suck if we have a few weeks where everything's like half done and not functioning properly. Terry Bogart says, if I give 50,000 kick points, where will I go in the Hall of Fame? Well, maybe we should actually do a Hall of Fame if you guys wanted it. But you guys would have to be okay with it. Like, I used to have that. I used to have a leaderboard that would track overall contributors, but then people started getting harassed because of it. My detractors would go after those people. So then I did away with it because people were saying, oh, it was, too much of a annoying thing. If you guys wanted to have like a kick Hall of Fame where we could have like, top kicker, I would maybe could create that. Maybe I could do like a slide that we play on the streams that says, here's the current top kicks leaderboard of the people who are the top kickers who did, I did a 50,000 kick and now I get recognition for it or whatever. Okay. Excuse me. We could maybe do something like that. All right. So let's see. Let's see how it goes. All right. Now, hopefully everything is going to work out fine today. Please understand, if something goes wrong with these kicks, if the chat is spammed or whatever, I can't do anything about it. I literally have no power. My hands are tied. Okay. They are. My hands are tied. And there's nothing that I can do about that. All right. Ian says, will you do badges for high kickers? Again, that's another thing. Kick does not allow you to gift out custom badges except for subs. That would be awesome. Imagine if I could assign a special badge if you're currently the person who did a 50,000 kick. I'd do that. I would make a badge and do it, but they don't have that. That's what I mean. What I'm hoping is, yes, they launch this fast, but hopefully they'll put more thought into it and there'll be more features and things associated with it because I would absolutely love that. To be able to gift out stuff as, rewards or thank yous to people who contribute to my streams, okay? I guess we'll have to see what happens. All right? So, as of now, the kicks are in effect. You can send kicks to support the channel. Sadly, I can't track them to know how many I'm getting, but if you do 100 or more, I'll give you a shout out and I'll put you on the leaderboard and we'll go for there, okay? Awesome. All right. Good stuff. What's up, Gabriel? How are you today? All right, so I got a couple shout outs to do, and then I want to move on to my next topic about the best games of the year and the streams and stuff like that. And then after that, we'll probably do some Q&A. Okay, cool. So, looks like I got a couple of tips here. Let me take a look. Someone tipped $2, says, you have advice on being a good cat dad? Sure. You have to be very patient with cats because cats are not like dogs. A dog, basically, you can train a dog to be very obedient and to be like a faithful companion. A cat is nothing like that whatsoever. A cat is a creature that has its own personality, and you basically have to judge your cat based off of its personality type. There's 3 types. There's, I forget what they actually call them because there's official names for them, but they color code them. One is like red, one is blue, and one is green. Red is like the cat is a loner and wants nothing to do with you besides food. Blue is kind of middle of the road where the cat will sometimes want to spend time with you, but a lot of the times is independent, but it's still a sociable cat. But a lot of the times it'll go off by itself. These cats usually are fine being left alone. And then you've got green cats, and that's what Jasper is. Jasper is the social cat. He absolutely 100% of the time wants to be with you no matter what you're doing. Seriously, you go to take a dump, he's sitting outside the bathroom, sticking his paws under the bathroom door because he wants to be with you. How dare you close the door on me that I can't be with you? Okay? So you need to learn your cat's personality type, and you need to adapt properly. If you treat the cat the wrong way, the cat actually might have an adverse reaction. If you have a red or a blue cat and you try to snuggle with it all the time like it's a green cat, that cat might actually be angry with you and actually start having bad behaviors because it doesn't like the way that you're treating it. Okay? With a cat, you absolutely need to adhere to a diet for said cat. Do not be feeding it human foods. Even as much as people like to say, oh, cats drink milk. No, they don't. If you give a cat milk, it gets sick. They cannot digest like cow's milk like we can. You should research and find out per your breed of cat what the best food is and stuff like that. And you should only feed it exactly what you're supposed to give it. Like, for example, with Jasper Kitty, 1 bowl of dry food a day, and it's a special dry food that treats him for urinary tract because he's had some urinary tract infections years ago. So we give him this specialized food. Then we usually give him a wet treat once a day. And then every once in a while, we'll give him a little bit of wet food also as a treat. But we buy him the good stuff, the one that's meant for like special diet. And he's good. He hasn't had a medical problem, I think, in about a year and a half, 2 years since he's had a single medical problem. Okay. Since we adjusted his diet. So you need to be about that. You can't just say, oh, I got a cat. Let me just go out and buy, the big bag of the dry ass food that's cheap. That's garbage. It's full of carbs. It's full of things your cat doesn't need. You know what really kills me about cats? How people have food for it that's like for humans. Like you'll go to the store to look at cat food. It'll be like, oh, look, it's beef with cheese and rice. You have a cat. You don't have a gourmand that's going to sit there with a fork and knife and eat it and rate the flavors. It's a cat. All it needs is the protein. It doesn't need the rice. It doesn't need the cheese. A cat should never have to eat cheese ever in its life. There's no reason for that. You understand? So that's what I mean. I have a million things I could tell you about cats. Hopefully, at least some of that has been a good initial digestion of information there. But I have a lot of things that I've learned being a cat dad. I got a $2 tip from someone who said Kick Chat is so much fun. I will say this. Kick Chat definitively reminds me of Twitch Chat. There's just more going on. In Kick Chat, you have moving emotes and global emotes, and they're fun. The global emotes on YouTube suck. They really do. They're shitty. The global emotes on Kick are fun. You got that cat yapping. He's going blah, 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 like this. I love that one. You got the meme of the guy laughing. That's funny. Like, I love the memes that they have on Kick. Those are just funny memes. The rat emote, it's going like this. That's fun. I love those emotes. They're very fun. I wish that there was, the bumblebee is one of my favorites. The bumblebee's going, and there was a reason, something happens in a game and then everyone uses the global emote together. It's funny as shit. I love that. Sadly, on YouTube, look at the global emotes on YouTube. What even is that? I don't even know. I've been streaming on YouTube full time since 2021. I still don't know what those emotes are. What is that supposed to be? A red Pac-Man ghost? What is this supposed to be? I don't even know. It's weird. These are just bizarre global emotes that people are using right now on YouTube. They're fucking but weirdo shit. Why can't they add better ones than that? I don't know. The ones on Kick are nice. They're memes and funny shit. Okay? So, good stuff, right? And I hope that you guys enjoy the Kick stuff. I do like the chat for funny things better. I do. I think that it's like a funny thing to be sitting in Kick Chat and seeing all those emotes flying and all the funny stuff. All right. However, Kick Chat is a way harder to kind of like keep control of and moderate. A lot of troll accounts go on Kick Chat. So you'll always see more activity on Kick Chat, but you'll also see a hell of a lot more trolling. The YouTube crowd is usually a more reserved crowd, a more relaxed crowd, people who are here to actually enjoy gameplay and not really to troll that much. Okay. There you go. Okay. So on to my final major topic for the day. And this is a serious topic that we have to discuss because I'm wondering, I want honest answers now, honest feedback, and I hope that you guys will give it to me. That's why I'm talking about this during a podcast, because I feel like I'll get better answers and better feedback if I bring it up now. Okay. So here's the deal. If you take a look at 2025 so far, and if you can believe it, we're 3/4 through the year. I know that sounds crazy. We are 3/4 through 2025. Okay? Would have been the absolute biggest stinker games of the year, the ones that were essentially from AAA studios that used to be the big hits. Okay? Games like Assassin's Creed Shadows. What in the holy hell happened there? A game that used to be at the top, the tippy top of games that would come out, ended up being a humongous piece of garbage. No inspiration, no originality, awful graphics and visual problems, the frame rate and everything, controls wonky, gameplay loop boring as dirt. Piece of garbage. It really is a piece of garbage. And again, that's what it used to be. Those would be the big games, right? You would always think, oh, Ubisoft's going to pump out a new Assassin's Creed. Oh, good shit. Here we go. Now, you can't even trust big AAA studios to put out anything that you even need to play. Most of the time, you can skip the big games and you've missed nothing. That's sad to really think, all right? Now, some of the games that have been good, but not great, have been this big wave of remasters, right? Think of all the freaking crazy amount of remasters that have come out recently. I mean, just in the last couple of weeks, you had Metal Gear Solid Delta, Snake Eater, and Gears of War Reloaded. These end up being some of the most solid games in the modern day because, sadly, it seems like a lot of the games that are now coming out are so underwhelming that the remaster is better than the new game, right? Seriously. Like, I had a lot of fun with Snake Eater. I really enjoyed, as frustrating as it was on hardcore, I enjoyed Gears of War. Those were legit better than some of the big AAA games that I have played recently. Okay? But now it's time to be honest. In 2025, what have been the absolute best games of the year? Well, I can only tell you my opinion, and my opinion is subjective. You might completely disagree with me, and that's okay if you do. But in my opinion, the best games this year have been the ones that no one saw coming, that literally came out of nowhere, or that are from indie studios that already did great, and then they had a chance to shine now that they actually had big support, and boom, their latest iterations are great. So what kind of games am I talking about? Clair Obscur Expedition 33, Blue Prince, and most notably right now, Hollow Knight Silksong. All three of these games are not from ginormous studios with huge budgets, not a AAA staffing, but all three of these games, in my opinion, have been best in class this year. Clair Obscur, arguably the best RPG I've played in a decade, okay? Insanely good story that's completely unique and keeps you guessing the entire game. Graphics that blow you away. Gameplay elements that take parts from other popular RPG franchises, but combine them into one congruent whole that honestly feels kind of better than what they lifted from. And one of the best soundtracks I've heard in a game in many years as well. It literally hits it on all fronts. Tons of content, meaningful content, great main story, awesome side content, mini games, awesome combat that's either turn-based, but you could have action focus with the parry and dodge system, each character being completely different. It's an amazing game. All right? It really is. Blue Prince, a game that I was never even going to play, but then it got virally popular. People started talking about it. You guys convinced me to play it. And when I started playing, I was like, holy shit, this game is good. It's got a combination of roguelike elements with exploration and puzzle solving. It's one of the most unique games I've ever played, and it has an insane amount of content. I mean, I played the game for over 60 hours, and I didn't do everything. There was still more to do, and I had to tap out and give up because the game playthrough was just getting too long, and everyone wanted me to move on and do other content. I was like, damn, I actually have to quit the game because it's so long. And now Hollow Knight Silksong, which now that I'm a good, over 10 parts, probably around 12, 13 hours into it, I can tell you honestly, probably the best Metroidvania game of all time. And some people are going to be like, oh, fuck you, Phil. How dare you say that? No, really. Like, I think it is. It's got elements from the best Metroidvanias It's got challenging, engaging combat, very exciting, interesting, improving platforming. It's got this big world, not overworld, excuse me. This overreaching dungeon map that has areas that unlock once you get certain abilities and stuff. Like yesterday, I just got the wall jump ability, and now I can go back and backtrack to all these new areas that previously I couldn't go to. It's like the best of everything that you would possibly want from a Metroidvania. Oh, yeah, it also has a story. Like, that's one of the things that usually lacks a lot when you play a Metroidvania, is that the story is just not that good. In this one, it actually has a unique story with deep lore. So it's got the lore of a FromSoft game, the exploration elements of a Metroid game, the combat elements of, say, Symphony of the Night, right? A leveling system. It's got everything you want. Seriously, it's super good. So for me, I'm looking at all these games. I'm like, wow, overall, this year it hasn't necessarily been one of the best for gaming, but the games that stand out are all unique for one reason. They're all indie/small studio games, not giant AAA releases. The AAAs have failed. They have fallen flat on their face and have miserably flunked out, while these little guys who were like the little guys that could, right? They have absolutely persevered. They have broken through that barrier to become some of the best games of the last many, many years. Okay? So that's one thing that all those games have in common. But there is another thing that those games also have in common that I feel like I need to bring up, because particularly they apply to my content and my streams. All right? Clair Obscur, Blueprints, Silksong. What is the common factor among all three of those games in regards to me and my content? Should I just tell you? Okay. The common factor is I streamed all three of them, and every time that I do, I cannot retain an audience at all. Seriously. When I start playing any of those games, I lose audience. I'll give you a perfect example. Right now, I currently have 224 viewers on YouTube. I currently have 104 viewers on Kick. And if I booted up Silksong right now to play it, I would go down to 130 viewers on YouTube and 50 viewers on Kick. And I'm not exaggerating. But if I booted up Call of Duty, I would retain the viewership. In fact, the viewership might even go up. Wait, what? So if I play an overblown, overproduced AAA game, comes out every year, never any different, same old song and dance, repetitive game loop over and over, I can get more viewers than playing the unique, best in class, small time developed, but amazingly awesome, hit it on all cylinders, amazing game of the year contender. Yes, for some reason, this audience will not stick around for the best games. And I guess the question is, what gives? All right? Because I've heard various different reasonings for this. I've heard things like, well, these games are boring. I've heard things like, well, they're so popular, people have already seen them. Or we're actually playing them, so we don't want to watch, right? I've heard all these different rationales. And maybe in truth, the actual truth of the matter is somewhere in the middle of all of them. Maybe because everyone's already playing them, you've already seen them elsewhere, they aren't so particularly fun to watch, they're more fun to play. Maybe it really is just like right in the middle, you get one of those big diagrams, and you have this percentile, so then you have the thing that overlaps in the middle. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. But I want you to understand from my perspective, okay? I am the streamer. I'm the creator. I'm the one who plays the games and tries to make entertaining streams and playthroughs for all of you. The goal of the stream that I put out is to get an audience, to hook that audience, to engage and entertain that audience so that they will want to, in turn, engage with me during the stream and then reciprocate with support. Okay? That's the point. That's the business model. I put out the free content. Hopefully the content is good enough for you. You like it, that you want to support it. And then I can stay in business and I can support my family and I can make a good living while you continue to get that level of quality content that you're enjoying because you supported it. There you have it. So if you take a look at the games that I'm playing, doesn't it make sense that I should focus on games that are going to bring in the most amount of viewers, that are going to bring in the most amount of engagement and the most amount of support? I think it does make sense. And if you look at Clear Obscure, Blueprints, there were sometimes those streams did well, and there were many times those streams did poorly. They were not hitting goals. Viewership was poor, but I continued to play them regardless. Why? Because I loved those games, and I knew those are Game of the Year contenders, and I need to play them, or else, number one, I'm doing myself a disservice as a gamer. Number two, when I get to the end of the year, there's no way that I can do like the best and worst games of the year if I don't play the best games. And number three, because quite frankly, I want to get some level of enjoyment out of what I'm doing. And not to say that I don't get enjoyment out of playing Call of Duty or something, but I feel like this job would have way less meaning to me if I wasn't allowed to play the best games. You understand? If I was told you have to purposefully skip all the best games of the year because no one cares about them on your streams, just play this garbage instead, I would probably hate my job. I would never want to do this again. Seriously. And I understand that this is a business and it's my job. You know, I get that. It is about support and stuff like that. But at the same time, at some point, you got to kind of put your foot down and be like, no, I'm also going to try to enjoy myself while I'm doing it. That's the point of gaming. Okay? That is. Like, that's the whole idea behind video games, is that you somehow get a level of enjoyment out of it. It's not supposed to be you're sitting down to play a video game and you're grinding and it's work. That's actually not the point. I think a lot of content creators have lost that joy, that point. Oh, it's time for the daily grind, yo. I got to jump into this one game that I play every single stream, and I got to go good. I have to get my placing and my ranking, and I have to level up and get a certain amount of points today. That's not the mentality of someone who enjoys video games at all, and I don't even understand it. Maybe you do. Maybe you're into the whole esports thing and shit, and oh, my gaming is my grind, and that's how I make my living. Yo, grind this shit out today. What the fuck are you talking about? The point of video games is supposed to be enjoyment. If you're sitting there and you play a game for 5 hours on a stream and you don't enjoy a moment of it, you fucked up. You're doing it wrong. That's not the point of what was created. You understand? It's supposed to be for the joy of it. And I get it because it's all about money now. It's the same thing that happens with professional sports or wherever big money comes, right? Well, do you think that the pro athlete always loves what they're doing? No, but they should at the very least love the game they're playing. If they're going to make it their living and what they're going to do the most of, then they should actually have some level of enjoyment of doing it. I think that's been lost by a hell of a lot of people. Okay? Seriously. I don't get it. So you understand where my frustration comes in. Best games of the year are coming out. I start playing them. I'm blown away. I love them. And the immediate feedback I get from the chat, this game's boring. Go back to Call of Duty. Go back to this other game where we get a quick laugh or whatever. We don't want to see you play this one because it's too long. That gets me. It's too long. It's too long. Isn't that supposed to be a good thing? Like if the game has a good story, good gameplay elements, don't you want more of it? But a lot of people, no, the game's too long. I just can't follow it. I can't tune into that stream or whatever, right? So that's what I mean. It frustrates me when I know these are the best games. I want to put out playthroughs of them, and people aren't along for the ride. Instead, they say, well, I'll be back when he plays so-and-so instead. But what about this being one of the best games of the year? I don't care. So honestly, I would like your feedback on this, okay? Because here's the thing. Some of these do get support. As of now, the reason that I have kept Hollow Knight Silksong in the rotation as primarily a daytime stream is because it has worked. Every single time that I've streamed Silksong, we've hit the support goal. So I'm able to then keep it as a daytime stream, even though the attendance dwindles, even though we go from 220 viewers down to 100 something, low hundreds. Still, I hit my support goal, so I'm able to still do that stream. Do you understand? Let's try to get some feedback, shall we? Please tag me in the chat. I want everyone's feedback on why this is. Let's see. First of all, Kaio Games says, no, not Kaio Games. Kaio Gomez says, your chat is, oh, that's not even a word, but your chat has too many haters who tell you they hate everything that you do. Don't cater to the 50 who leave, cater to the 150 that stay. Matt says the grass is always greener on the other side. Gumbulon Prime, I'm just gonna say this. What you said is so fucking stupid. He goes, gotta remember, people are here for you and you have to be entertaining. Dude, if I wasn't entertaining, no one would be on this podcast. Okay. No one would watch my content. No one would support it. There wouldn't be thousands of people who clip and restream. I'm entertaining. May not be for the same reasons. Some could be positive, some could be negative, but people find me entertaining, you incredible fucking idiot. Or else no one would be here. That's the dumbest statement I've ever heard. Christian says, when you force yourself to play a game that you don't like, it comes through. I think you should just play what you like. Well, here's the thing. I understand what you're saying, but at the same time, this is a business. I do have to have streams that are going to pay the bills. So there may be a time when there's a game that I'm not particularly liking at that moment, but maybe I'll like it better later. That's happened. There's been a few games at first I don't like, or there's moments I don't like, but overall, I do enjoy my experience. Okay. Also, to be honest, it doesn't work. For example, like I've literally just talked about on this podcast, I love classic JRPGs. I would like to play more of them. I wanted to play Metaphor last year, but after playing 12 hours of the demo, we weren't hitting any goals whatsoever, and it was my least supported stream, so I had to drop the game and never played the full retail version. Okay? That's direct feedback I got from the audience. Now, let's say I said, well, screw it, I'm playing it anyway. So now I commit to an 80-hour playthrough. Okay? That could be upwards of 40 streams where every time I play it, I'm not making any money. How do I stay in business? The answer is I don't. And I've had to make tough decisions like this where I have to say, this works, this doesn't. Stay with this, drop this. And there's nothing you can do. When you're an adult and you have responsibilities and this is your job, you have to make those tough decisions. Okay? A lot of people don't. This is just funny to them, their hobby. They can do whatever they want because they have a 9 to 5 outside of it. Or they're so large, they're so huge that they don't have any financial problems because they're getting thousands and thousands of viewers a stream. They're rolling in dough. Well, that's not me. I'm the normal dude, the guy who has a normal life just like you, and I sit here and I enjoy games, and I have to play things that work for my job. No one goes to work, works an 8-hour shift, and the boss says, oh, well, you're just not getting paid for today because it didn't really help anything. Oh. I'm really hoping that at least a few days when I work this week, I'll make some money. You know? It's not how life works. So, excuse me. I do think that playing everything that I want to play would never work, just to be honest. Okay. But I'm okay with balancing. I'm okay with balancing things so that we have enough of the things that other people want and I want, or finding that happy medium to make ends meet. Then I'm good with that. And that has been working. It has. It's just that sometimes there's tough decisions that have to be made on what gets played and what doesn't. Mute says viewer quality over viewer quantity. Now that is actually quite an important factor. Quality over quantity. All right. Why? Because you might have 5,000 viewers, but if 4,500 of the viewers are fucking trolls who hate your guts, it doesn't matter that you have 5,000 viewers. Get it? You need to have people who like who you are, who like the content you put out, who will engage and support said content. Because then it doesn't matter how many viewers you have, you're still successful. That's what's been happening, honestly, with Silksong. Even though it's not a large audience for it, there are people who like the game and come and support it, so I can keep playing it. And I'm very grateful for that. I really, really am, because I love that game. It's the same thing with Suikoden right now, and that's the conundrum I'm having about Suikoden 2. Suikoden 1 was well supported. Suikoden 2 is not being well supported. It is dipping in views and is dipping in support, and I want to keep it going. At this point, we're just reaching around the halfway point of the game, but I don't know if I can keep it going now because people aren't supporting it as much. You know, I really hope that today we can rally and hit the goal. I mean, here we are an hour into the podcast, almost done with the show, and I've raised what? Not even $20? That's horrible. That's not good. The whole idea was that I was trying to get a head start, so when I play Suikoden, we're good. But you see my point? Like, there's certain games that I love, that I think are great, and in some cases that the entire gaming community think are Game of the Year contenders, and I can't get people to come by the streams. And I don't know what to do about that. Buckwill says, what's the difference between yesterday's talk and today's podcast? Yesterday's talk wasn't a talk. It was a build-up session to get attendance before we started gameplay, and it lasted about 30 minutes. The podcast runs typically 90 minutes. The podcast has set topics that we cover that I like to have as segments, a planned out show, as opposed to those build-up things are just kind of messing around and killing time. It's a different vibe completely. Here's your answer. Gameplay streams on Kick are dead as fuck. IRL vlogs dominate the site. So what? What's the point of that statement? I can't do IRL content because of the level of trolling that I have. So it's not possible. So what's the point of what you just said? How does it even apply to me? You know who I am. You know the content I make. You know that I'm completely different. Every time that you look at my situation stands apart from everyone else's because I am unique. I'm a guy who's been around for 17 years. I'm in a unique situation with the level of scrutiny that's on me every day, the level of harassment that's on me. I do things differently. What's the norm for others is not the norm for me. I get good support from Kick for gameplay. I do. Between the subs, the viewership, and now these kicks that are going to be coming, I get good support. Do you really think that I would be co-streaming on Kick if I didn't get anything out of it? Of course I do. So your point is a moot point. It doesn't apply. It's invalid. I don't even know what you're trying to say. Big Bix makes a good point. He says, looking at the views is the same as trying to look at videos on your on-demand content. Yeah, it does apply to some things, for example, ad revenue, but it's just not super important. What's more important is the support you're getting. So just worry about that. Now, I get that, but the point I'm also making is take a look at these games. Claire Obscure and Blueprints did not get good support. I'm making this clear. There were some streams that did, but many of those streams were my least earners, my lowest earners. So you're telling me whenever I play a game that's one of the best of the year, best RPG, best puzzle game, best Metroidvania, low attendance, low support. So does that mean I skip the best games of the year? That means that I don't get to play the best games. How can I call myself a variety gamer and a variety streamer if I skip what's known to be the best? Because I have an audience that sits here and complains that those games are boring and then basically won't support them. That's my conundrum here. Okay? That really is my conundrum. So the thing is, I get people who are trying to be helpful, but they don't understand that the way that they're saying things, it doesn't help. Like one person just says, you're overcomplicating things. If you absolutely never talked about income, if you never talked about support, if you didn't have goals, if you just played games and had fun, you'd be successful. Wrong. Wrong. You want to know how I know that? Because I've been doing this for 17 years, and I have the track record to show that just doesn't work. There was a time when I didn't have to do that shit, right? There was a time when everything was based off ad revenue and things were good. Those times are long fucking gone, dude. Long gone. In fact, the only streamers that don't have to talk about support are the streamers that have gone viral. The ones that hit the algorithm and they get thousands and thousands of viewers a day. They don't ever have to mention goals or income. Literally every other fucking streamer does it. All right? I'm just going to say this as clearly as I can say it. You're wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't do this for a living. You wish you could. You watch big streamers and then you try to apply that to small-time people. That's not fair. In fact, that's insane. It means you're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about. Your opinion is invalid. I've tried different things. It doesn't work. When I bring up income and goals, I make them. When I don't bring up income and goals, no one contributes. It's pretty simple. Cause and effect. Okay, thank you to Jimmy. Jimmy did a $2 super chat. Are you religious or nah? Well, my personal beliefs are my own, and as you know, I try not to bring that into my content. Reason being, I've always said this, politics and religion are two of the most dividing topics that humans discuss. All right? Seriously. There are some people who are intelligent, calm individuals, very rational, and you could say to them, hey, I believe in this. And it's okay if you don't. We could still come together on agreement of certain things, right? But there's other people you say, hey, I'm of this religion. They'll be like, you're my hated enemy. Wait, but I didn't even say it. You're my hated enemy because you're of that religion. Holy shit. That's how some people are. It's the same thing with politics, right? You could say, I'm left wing, I'm right wing. I hate you. What do you mean? How dare you have a view that's not of mine? Not in line with my belief system. You're my enemy. The life is black and white. There's no way we could ever agree to disagree. There's no way we could come to the middle on some kind of like an agreement on something or any kind of you know what I mean? No way. We must kill each other. So when it comes to my content, I try to leave it out. All right? Maybe one day things will change. Maybe as I get older, there'll be a time we can actually do content like that. We can have a night stream where, like, hey, let's just discuss everyone's different kind of religious beliefs, moral beliefs. We'll have discussions like that as I get older. And maybe as the world mellows out a bit. I don't know. I just don't think we're at that kind of climate right now where we can talk about that shit. I feel like right now, if I opened up about that kind of stuff, people would absolutely freak the fuck out. They'd be, I can't believe he said that. I can't believe he has that belief. I hate him now. I loved everything he ever did up to now, but now that he said that, now I'm done with it. You know? I'm not going to go there. Okay? Okay. Code OINK did a $2 super chat. Would you watch story-driven game you're playing? I will say this. This is kind of interesting. Okay? So, many years ago, I'll just put it into this frame of reference. The other night, I got a recommendation on YouTube out of nowhere, out of the blue. It was one of my old Ask the King episodes from like 2011, 2012. Okay, that long. So we're talking like 12, 13, 14 years ago. What the hell? I'll click play and see what I was talking about back then. And one of the topics in Ask the King back then was best playthroughs, favorite games, stuff like that. So someone asked me, what do you think are your best playthroughs? And you want to know what I said back then? I said, I think my best playthroughs are narrative-based games like Heavy Rain or The Walking Dead. And the reason is because they're not heavy gameplay, but they allow me to absorb a story and do fun improv commentary to give you my insights on what's going on in the story. In the case of Heavy Rain, to try to guess who the killer is. In the case of The Walking Dead, to talk about what I think about the moral stuff that's going on in the game, these life or death situations, who you ally with, who you trust, who you don't. And I think that's some of the best stuff that I do, and people really resonate with it, and that's why they want me to play all these narrative-based games, and they want to, you know, that's where I get the most views. Can you imagine me saying that today? Do I even play that kind of game anymore? No, I couldn't. Like, literally, no one would listen. No one would watch that shit. Seriously. And I know because there were a few playthroughs, the last few that I did like that, didn't do very well. Like, I remember, I think the last major game of that style would have either been, if you're talking just in general, Detroit Become Human, but then also the horror games that I play from Supermassive Games, right? Where I do commentary over what's taking place in the story, right? So just think of it this way. Last year, out of all the games that I played, do you remember that game? What was it called? The Casing of Frank Stone or whatever it was called. Do you remember that playthrough? Do you know that was a really good playthrough? It was. It was cool. It was like watching a horror movie together, me commentating on it, having a good time, and it didn't bring in views and it didn't bring in much attention at all. It was the casting of Frank Stone. Excuse me, not the casing. The casting of Frank Stone. Okay? People just don't like the same stuff they used to like anymore. Seriously. And it's sad because I really do feel like that's the stuff that back in the day got me notoriety on YouTube. Was that, oh my God, someone's doing improv commentary over this story-based game, and it's hilarious. He's making jokes, he's cracking jokes, but he's also speculating on what's going on. He's got some good social commentary on the issues and things that are rising in the game. This is really entertaining. Today, I do the same exact kind of playthrough. Wow, this is boring. Yeah. What it is the world has changed, culture has changed. Seriously. That's what's happened. Today, it's like people want to see me just play Call of Duty and go through a gameplay loop, shooting up people, raging, but then every once in a while doing well, getting a kill streak. To them, that's more important and more meaningful and interesting than me doing a narrative-based game and having all this stuff to add with my commentary. It seems like they just don't care about that shit anymore. You know? It's sad. It's sad that that's what's happened. I think the gaming in general has moved on and changed a lot in the past 10 to 15 years from how it was when I started as a YouTuber. I think in general, you know, when you go to more business models like Grand Theft Auto Online, Fortnite, the monetization of FPS games with microtransactions and seasonal update content. Now it becomes more about the loop, more about the grind, more about the repetition than it is about those meaningful moments of a game where something awesome happened in the plot and you were there when the person had their honest first reaction about it. Like, no one seems to care anymore. And it's sad. You know what I'm saying? I do think it's very sad. No, see, this is what I'm saying. Someone just tipped $1.50 and said, I do see some people playing games like Suikoden and Hollow Knight and getting 1,000 viewers. You're right. That's what I'm trying to bring up. Do you understand? It's not that I'm not successful. It's not that I don't have an audience. It's that the majority of that audience doesn't want to see me play these games that seem to be the best of the year. So what do I do? Do I adapt? Do I not play those games? Do I play them in a different method? Am I doing something wrong? Because it's not that I don't have an audience. I do. And that audience shows up and engages and in general supports my content, or else I wouldn't make a living. So then what is it about these particular games? That seems to be the answer that it's eluding me. And I'll be honest with you, one of the things that I do think it is, to be honest, is you have newcomers that come by every once in a while. They come to the stream and they see me playing a game and they get interested. Oh, wow, this is Darkside Phil. I've heard so much about this guy. Let's actually check out the stream. They'll watch the stream, and at the end of the stream, they'll be like, I don't understand. All these people on the internet say this guy is like the devil. They say he's a scumbag. They say all he talks about is money. Literally, that didn't happen in this stream. Yeah, he brought it up a few times, but that's not what it was all about. He didn't berate the viewers. He didn't attack people. In fact, that was an entertaining stream. Okay? So then they show up for their second stream. But then the second stream happens to be a game that I have to pay attention to the game. And then the troll brigade moves in. And they come in with their 100 accounts saying nasty things, awful things, right? Robots, spam accounts, attacking. Or they're in Kick Chat, they enjoy their first night, but then you get a more sarcastic group. And this group is here to just basically dump on me and be toxic, right? Then that person says, oh, I'm going to do a super chat to support Phil because I like these first two streams I attended. So they do a super chat. And within 24 hours, they have 20, 30 people who are spam messaging them on their X account and their TikTok saying, hey, fuck you for supporting Darkside Phil, you piece of shit. You scumbag. Now we're going to harass you. Now we're going to dox you. And they fucking post their shit up on Kiwi farms. They're dox and shit. So why do you think I can't get a positive audience for games? Honestly. Why? Because now it's starting now to the point where I have changed so much in the last couple of years. And it's not just, oh, it's him. It's the quality of the content I'm putting out. No longer can you say his quality sucks. All his equipment's outdated. He doesn't try. He doesn't set anything up. Look at the setup. I set up all this shit for this morning. These lights and everything. Oh, no, it's not that. It's not that I don't put in effort. I'm here 6 days a week streaming full time, double streams. It's not that I don't have the equipment. It's not that I don't have the personality. It's that when people try to be positive new people, they get fucked with. So why would they stick around? Don't you think that after your first, second, third stream experience where there's a bunch of toxic jerks in the chat that I can't moderate, and then you're getting harassed for liking my content, don't you think people are going to leave? So how on earth could I ever grow? How could I ever get an audience for the hot new games that are popular like Clair Obscur or Blueprints or Silksong when people can't even have a safe environment to be in when they're on my streams? Right? And then if they try to search for my content, they get, Phil is a greedy asshole. Phil did this, and I didn't do it at all. It's completely live, completely fabricated. Phil did this horrible thing. Phil crashes out on stream. And all you do is you watch the clip, and it's just me reacting to like a cheap death on a game. You know, like everyone does on a gameplay stream. But Phil crashing out, that's the clip. See, Phil's an awful person. He crashed out. So what do you think is going to happen? Do you think I can even affect any of that stuff? It's an honest question. Could I affect any of that? Could I change any of that? I would like to have a positive audience that comes by for the good new games. I want to enjoy them. Why is it that I have to really struggle through certain styles of games that are the best of the year, but then if I just simply play a game that has like a repetitive game loop, again, like Call of Duty, then it goes well? I don't get it. To be honest with you, I don't get it because it used to be the opposite. It used to be people were here for the big chill games. They were here for Heavy Rain, for The Walking Dead. It didn't have to be a bunch of crazy gameplay. It could just be us relaxing and enjoying my company while I do commentary over a game like that. People loved it. Now it's, well, that's boring, right? I don't even know what else to say. Princess Luna with a $5 super chat saying, right now. Thank you to Princess Luna. I appreciate that. I don't know anything about the Anno series. I've heard the name Anno, but I've never played it. No, I don't even know what kind of a game it is, right? Euthanasia, if the kicks system works the same as how bits worked on Twitch, the streamer will keep 100% of the kicks, and each kick is a penny. That's how it worked on Twitch, where Twitch made their profits when you bought the bits. That was the transaction where they made money, and all the bits went 100% to the streamer. So I'm assuming, because again, Kick pretty much copies Twitch all the time with everything they do. I'm assuming that's exactly how this is going to go. That it's going to be you keep it all, but they make the money on the transaction up front. Because if you actually take a look at the profit, it's very similar to the sub. Right now, if you subscribe to someone or you gift a sub on Kick, basically the streamer keeps $4.75 and Kick keeps 25 cents. So if you look at how when you're buying the kicks, it's the same ratio where they'll charge you to like 25 cents for $5 of kicks. So it makes sense that that's the system. But again, they haven't announced anything. They haven't even talked about it. They've just launched it and didn't even explain it. So it's all just guessing at this point, you know? Bookwell, well, let me ban you first. He says, are you open to real legit feedback? Because I've given you feedback before and you banned me. No, you see, you don't understand what feedback is. You don't. There's a difference between constructive criticism and either being unfair or toxic. If you actually have a constructive suggestion for improvement, that is something that I can apply or at least consider, versus you're just doing it all wrong and that's your problem, but then you have nothing to say positive about what you could do to improve. Or if it's been something that literally I've said a million times why I can't do, like, for example, I cannot do a fan lobby because if I do, the trolls will take up half the spots and ruin the lobby for the real fans. There's no point in even doing it. So then if you say, well, it's your own fault because you don't do fan lobbies, you're just trolling. I've already logically explained why I can't do it. Just because you emotionally want the fan lobby doesn't mean I can make it happen. I can't finger snap the trolls away, make them go away. So you just don't feed the trolls. Do you understand? So that's what I'm saying. If you have something constructive to say that you can actually add, great. But if not, then keep it to yourself because no one gives a shit about your toxicity. There you go. Okay. Well, we do have to end the show so I can actually start with gameplay today. So is there any final topics, anything that anyone wants to bring up? Can we get some final support? If not, we're literally ending the show at $28, which means, once again, this is going to be an impossible climb to hit a goal with Suicode N2. And it's going to suck. I want to hit the goals. I want to be keeping the momentum. I want Suicode N to continue. We're having a great time with the playthrough. I can't make people support certain kinds of games. There's nothing I can do about it. As much as I talk them up and I enjoy them and I play them and, try to make them positive experiences, I don't know what to do about them. Oh, did he? Okay, see, I can't even see that. You see what's happening? So people are spamming one kick in the kick chat. Someone's like, did you see your future stepdad just sent you a big amount of kicks? No, I can't see it because the spam got rid of it. I couldn't even see it. See the problem? So definitely we got to do something to fix that. I hope that they will reprogram this thing and fix it. So, hold on. Let me try to find it. Oh my God. I can't even find it. See what I mean? Like, there's no leaderboard and there's no way for me to track it. I can't even fucking find it. Did he really? People are saying your future stepdad did a 500 kick contribution, but I literally can't find it. All I see are one kick contributions from these fucking idiots who are spamming one kick nonstop. I literally can't find it. Did he? I'll have to take your guys' word for it. He did? Okay, I'll believe you guys. Thank you to your future stepdad. He did a 500 kick contribution. I couldn't see it because these idiots who are spamming. This is going to be a problem. And here's the thing. If your future stepdad had gifted a sub, I would have just made $4.75 because he just gifted 500 kicks. I made $5. See the difference? That is a difference. It's kind of cool, actually. So maybe these kicks will actually work out in the long run. We'll have to see. Captain DCW just did a $5 super chat, and he says, I ordered my new monitor at Best Buy. I tried Amazon. The monitor broke either during packaging or shipping. I had to return it for a refund. That sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. Something weird is going on with Amazon. And actually, my parents have a theory. So my wife and I order things from Amazon maybe like once a week. Okay, maybe. Sometimes more than that. All right. But basically, Amazon used to be insanely good when it came to being dependable for delivery. They would say, like, oh, you can get it tomorrow morning. It's overnight shipping. And you could absolutely 100% depend on that. Now they'll be like, oh, overnight shipping, you'll get it in the morning. And then you'll wake up in the morning, you don't have it. You'll open it. Oh, it still didn't ship yet. Then why did you tell me I was getting overnight shipping? And then you'll wait, you still won't get it for a whole day. They'll say, oh, delayed in shipping. We'll give you an updated date. And sometimes you'll get it like 2 days later, and other days you never get it. And this has happened to us, I'm not exaggerating, probably 7 times in the last 2 months, where we just order something. We don't necessarily need it the next day, but we just order something that we need, and it says it's going to be delivered, and it never shows up. And then we have to cancel the order and then reorder it, and then we get a refund. And we were trying to figure out what's going on with that. And I was talking to my parents a couple weeks ago, and they think that their theory is Amazon doesn't seem to be using UPS anymore. If you don't know what that is, that's United Parcel Service. It's a independent shipping company. And Amazon used to have a partnership with them where a percentage of their shipments would actually go through them. And now it seems like they've canceled that partnership entirely. So now what's happened is, like Amazon is now trying to still ship the same amount of orders, but they don't have the capacity to handle it anymore. So what's happening is now half the orders are getting delayed, damaged, lost, like big issues. I had a box that I ordered about a month and a half ago, and luckily this didn't affect what was in the box. The box had a giant dent in it that impacted the box and had a giant dent in the side of the box. What gives? And they delivered it that way. It wasn't like, oh, we saw that we damaged it in delivery, we returned it. They just delivered it that way anyway. But luckily, it didn't touch anything that was actually in the box. The box had good packaging. But yeah, I'm seeing this more and more with Amazon. It doesn't seem like they're that dependable anymore, that something's changed over there. And it might actually be this UPS issue where maybe, let's say, for example, 15% of their orders used to go through UPS. Well, now all of a sudden their capacity just increased by 15%. So now they're really, trying their hardest, but what can they do? It's not like they hired 15% more workers overnight. What's going on, Satan? So yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. Thank you, Captain DCW. Did I add that to the total, by the way? I don't think I did, right? No, Buckwell, it's always Prime. We have Amazon Prime, and everything we order is on Amazon Prime. Always. We always pick the Prime item. I did add it, right? We're 38? Okay, cool. All right, guys, so last chance. Any topics, any last-minute contributions before we adjourn the show? By the way, I'm completely on the fence. One final question for you guys, okay? Should we or should we not do a podcast tomorrow? As of right now, I don't have any topics. So I'm thinking if we skip the podcast tomorrow, we could do another 3.5+ hours of Silksong on that first stream, which would be great progress for the game. But it's also the end of my very short streaming week, and people might want a podcast. Okay? So do we do the podcast or not? What do you guys think? No podcast? Skip the podcast? All right. We had 2 this week. I think these were both good shows. We had good discussion. What I like is those watching on demand, please leave comments on this video. I want to hear your thoughts about the new kick stuff. I want to hear your thoughts about games and why I can't get viewership for the best games of the year. I really need feedback on this. So please, by all means, do. And hopefully something good comes from this discussion that we can figure out, figure out ways to improve stuff, And I'll apologize to those on Kick today. I'm really sorry for the mess in chat with the 1 kick kicks. Again, I can't stop it. Even if I banned those people, they could still send the kicks. I'm serious. So there's no point. That is true. Oh, Muckman just made a stupendous point. Muckman says, skip the podcast. You're going to do Chill with Phil tomorrow night. 1,000,000% Muckman just hit it on the head. No podcast tomorrow. We'll just have like a half an hour where we chill. And then we'll start with Silksong. We'll do 3.5 hours of Silksong, and then we'll do Chill with Phil. I totally forgot all about that. Good point, Muckman. Awesome. Okay. All right, guys. Well, that's going to be it for today's show. No podcast tomorrow. There will be a Chill with Phil stream tomorrow night. The podcast returns on Saturday. I know this is weird. I have Thursday and Friday off. The podcast returns on Saturday, and it will be a formal podcast that day. All right? In the meantime, thank you all for watching the show. Thank you for hanging out. Thank you for your constructive feedback, and thank you for your support. I appreciate all of that. And I hope that you have a great few days here, whether you're going to be watching all of my content and hanging out with me, or maybe you'll just skip it all and you'll come back on Saturday, because some people do that. Thank you so much. Be safe, and I'll see you all soon. Peace out.